Planned economic system, this is another allocative mechanism. Yesterday we talked about free market economic system in which resources are allocated by the market forces of demand and supply. So it is opposite to the free market economic system. Here resources are not allocated by the private producers and consumers. They are allocated by an authority that is called the government of a country. So now the resources are allocated. The resources are allocated by the government to overcome the basic economic problem. कौन सी basic economic problem? Scarcity of resources. Alright. So here the basic economic questions, they are answered by the government. What to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. All these questions, they are answered by the government. The government is the deciding party. Government is going to plan for the whole year how many defense items are to be produced, how many schools and hospitals, how much food is going to be produced, and how many houses are provided to the population. So there is going to be all the things which are decided by the government. Now, the government will decide what, how, and for whom to produce. For whom to produce. Alright? So these are the questions which every society, every economy has to answer. Yesterday we talked about market is free to decide. Here market is having no role in the allocation of resources, rather it is totally decided by a strong authority. This is also called authoritarian system. Here authority is going to directives are issued by the government departments. There is one planning division of the government which plans for the whole year. Clear? So by this, resources are allocated not on the basis of profit motivation. Government is not going to have the aim of maximizing the profit, rather it is having the aim to maximize the social welfare or collective welfare of the whole society. In case of profit maximization, who is going to get the maximum share? The producers, the entrepreneur, that they are going to have the ability to make their businesses more successful in case of private economy or free market economy. But here, government aim is to achieve the collective welfare maximization. What is the main aim? Aim is to maximize collective welfare of the society. Collective welfare of the society. Alright? This is the main aim of this planned economy. It is against the individual welfare maximization. They say when individual is maximizing the welfare, he may be harming the overall social welfare. Clear? There is fallacy of composition as well. When we are saying everyone is maximizing his welfare, the society welfare is also maximized. Sometimes a person is stealing a good, he is robbing. So although that's an illegal activity, but the thief is going to maximize his money welfare. So it does not mean that the welfare of society is also maximized. The government says there can be a wrong way that everyone, when he is having the private welfare maximization, society's welfare may not be maximum. So it is taken by the government as a responsibility to make the society more egalitarian. Egalitarian means what? That should have a fair distribution of resources, fair distribution of income. There should not be too many income classes. So everything that should be divided among the society according to the government directives. What government is deciding about that. Clear? So in order to achieve this collective welfare of the whole society or whole country, what they are going to have, the first thing, they need to have public ownership. What it is? Public ownership. Like all the resources, they are owned by the public. No private ownership of businesses and properties are allowed after a certain limit. If, for example, a farmer is cultivating his piece of land, so government will snatch that piece of land and make him the employee of his own land. His own piece of land, now he is working as a government employee. So he is cultivating the piece of land, but he will not be entitled to get the whole profit. Rather, the output or yield, whatever is produced by that farm, that is the ownership of state, and that farmer will be paid the salary, the wage he has performed the work, not the output share, not the profit, but he will be provided a salary by the government. So government takes, when this private ownership increases, it makes the differences among the people, that some are very rich and others are very poor, which is the root cause of many social evils. So when society is having fair distribution of income, the government is paying salaries and wages according to the people's qualification and skills, then this race between the people to earn more and more and to have more private property, clear, that will not be present. So for that reason, government makes the public ownership, that everything, whatever is present in the economy, that is publicly owned. If any business is becoming too large, it will be the reason of income inequality. So what government will do? Government will snatch that business and it will be converted into a public ownership, that everyone is now the employee of the state. Although this is causing disincentive for the private investors, they will not stay in that country where their properties, their businesses are snatched. That's another drawback of this system. So public ownership is going to be adopted by the government in order to allocate resources in the society or in the economy. What the second thing they are going to have? Now it is the responsibility of the government to provide food, shelter and clothing to everyone. Alright? Basic necessities of life, they are the responsibilities of the state. हमारे यहाँ कौन सी पार्टी है, रोटी कपड़ा मकान, गवर्नमेंट will provide it. People's Party is having this slogan. So basically they have the roots of plannedeconomicsystem. They were trying to have Islamic Socialist Republic of Pakistan, but this slogan that is raised by a plannedeconomicsystem, now it is the responsibility of the government to provide you food, shelter and cloth. How is it possible? The thing is that government is also the employer, the major employer, the major producer of all the goods. In order to provide these things, government needs the manpower. The government is employing many people in its departments to run the whole machinery. Clear? So how these employees are provided wages and salaries according to their qualification and their skills. For example, we look around in our society, we see armed forces or Pakistan Army, they are having the rankings. There is one person who is a major, another is colonel, another is brigadier. So according to the rank, they are provided residence by the department. According to the rank, they are provided the salaries. All the brigade level people, they are having the same level of benefits by the department. Clear or not? So when employees are hired, they are hired according to their qualification and skills, and each level of qualification and experience will have the same level of income. There is one income bracket. There will be no differences in income. Whether he is working in education department, health department, or any other department of the government, the scales decided by the government will be the same. Now, they will also be provided residence according to their scale, according to their employment category in the public sector. Now, if these people, the government is the producer of all the things, cars are also produced by the government, all types of goods are decided by the government, majority of the things. Clear? So when people, they are the employees of the state, they want to buy food, they go to the market. And in the market, we have the shops which are also run by the government. Employees are sitting on a shoe shop, employees sitting in the food shop. So we go to the public shops, the state-owned shops, in order to buy subsidized food. Shelter is already provided by the state, okay, and subsidized clothing, subsidized cars. So everything, whatever we are buying in the market, the people who are sitting in the shops, they are the state employees again. They are keeping the record of the inventories and they are having their shifts as well. So in that way, the government is running the whole economic system. If there are private shops, they are having very, very less percentage in the market. And majority of the shops, like food shops, all types of goods, whatever is produced by the government, that is sold in the market at subsidized rate. And who are sitting on those shops? The government employees. Is it clear to you? How this system is controlled and managed and planned by the government? Can there any questions related to this? So we have the main responsibility of the government for employment, for production, for the distribution of goods by the government. Yeah. So motivation is what? The collective welfare, ownership is there. So what type of government is required in this system? What type of government do you think? Type of the government. Type of the government is what? Dictatorship or authoritarian. Authoritarian form of government is required. Authority. Who can exercise the full potential of his authority. That is required in order to run this system. At every time, whatever is decided, that must be implemented. Clear? So when the system is running or it is working properly, people are going to have different outcomes for that. What are the outcomes? There can be the benefits of this planned economic system. What are those benefits? It will have easy access of basic necessities of life to everyone. Food, shelter and clothing is provided by the state. It is also guaranteeing what? Employment to the people, because the main producer, main employer is the government. It is having the economic activities, it will initiate different economic activities which will create employment opportunities. Clear or not? So mainly this system is having better planning to produce the goods and it will have more employment opportunities by the state. Clear? And the goods are subsidized for all the people. They can easily afford it. Now, what are the drawbacks of this system? If I ask you, what are the drawbacks? No profit motivation is present. So, most of the state-owned enterprises, they are bearing losses. Because all the employees who are working in one organization that is controlled by the state minister or any government official, so they are not having any profit motivation. They are only concerned with their wages and salaries. And that will involve what? Another way of corruption. And the government officials, they are provided many non-pecuniary or pecuniary benefits by the government. They are provided big houses, they are provided automobiles, they are provided all types of facilities by the government. And the lower level of government officials, they are not having all these things with them. They are having the permanent jobs. Okay, this is also one of the benefits. So we see over here, the government is planning to have these things to reduce the income inequalities, but it has emerged another income group of bureaucracy. The bureaucrats, the government officials, which were not present in free market economy, they have been immersed in the form of another income group, another class of the society, not able to have fair distribution or equal distribution of income, rather it is going to have further inequality. No incentive to hard work, no incentive to maximize the profit, rather everyone is going to again trying to have more and money collection of money. They are going to have more money collection while they are sitting in the government offices, and they are earning money by different illegal ways. Clear? So when we see the responsibility of the government is to provide food to everyone, people are standing in the queues to get the food on a subsidized rate. And when the person, most of the people, they are unable to get food at subsidized rate, because once they reach to the distributor, if they are not having any social ties with that person, okay, who is distributing the food in the market or in the society, the other person who is going to receive it may not receive the desired quantity of the, and the quality of the products, that's also very, very poor. When government is producing at mass scale, they are having planning faults, they are ignoring the quality, they are only focusing on what? Targets to be achieved by the state-owned enterprises. Regardless of the quality of the product produced, they are only having targets, and the productivity bonuses are also giving incentives to the officials of the government in order to achieve their targets. So in that achievement, what they are ignoring? The quality is ignored. And when government is having the state-owned enterprises at such a mass level, they will also be having mass level of pollution. And planning fault, I want to say a few things about planning fault. What are those? Instead of producing most of these things, like government will basically produce food items, public goods, merit goods. That will be their main priority, which are collectively used by many of the people, and that will reduce their marginal cost of production. Government will enjoy the economies of scale as well. But do you think government is always having planning of all these things which are desired by the people to have them? Government is allocating resources in the production of weapons. Most of the planned countries, when they are going to plan, they have the enemies as well. In order to make their defense stronger and stronger, they produce more defense items. And what is the result? There will be shortages of food, shortages of basic necessities of life. If farmer is not given a share of the profit, he is only concerned with the wage and salary. And if he is not provided a harvester to harvest that crop when it is ready to be harvested, what happens? Government hasn't produced harvesters, so as a result, the whole yield of that crop will be destroyed, and that is the loss of national output as well, because of no incentive. Clear? So this economic system, which was implemented by Russia after First World War in 1918 or before that, and this was a man-made system. It wasn't a natural one. Not natural. This was designed by Karl Marx. Okay? So this was not a natural one, so it expired in 1992 when the last president of Soviet Union, Gorbachev, he announced the what can we say, the broken country into the world map. Many of the Central Asian states, they were released from Soviet Union. And nowadays, that was a superpower in planned countries. That was a superpower in the world. But there is no more Soviet Union on the world map. The whole catastrophe of this country, this economic system, that was collapsed. Due to their planning faults, they were producing more weapons in order to capture Afghanistan, in order to win that war. And they were not focusing on the basic necessities to be produced for the general public. So what happened? The whole system was collapsed. Without any external war or any internal political or economical turmoil, they were having the planning failures, and that was the reason of breakage of the whole country. Superpower, there was no more superpower, Soviet Union. Okay, that's all. I think you are able to understand how a planned economic system works in order to allocate resources either efficiently or inefficiently. So this is the main thing. Thank you.